In iPsycho, crazed lunatic Nora Dershlit kidnaps Carly, Sam, and Freddy and holds them hostage in her basement before getting a beatdown by Gibby and then arrested for her crimes. In iStill Psycho, she gets released from prison and kidnaps the entire iCarly crew again, while this time throwing in Gibby and Spencer to the list of hostages. Till Miss Benson shows up, stands on business, and channels her inner Fenton Benson, leading to Nora being arrested once again. Those are Nora's only 2 appearances on iCarly, but the Dan Schneider universe wasn't done with her just yet, because a few short years after iStill Psycho, she would appear again, this time on the Sam and Cat episode, #SuperPsycho. And I've never actually seen a full episode of Sam and Cat before, but since I covered the first 2 episodes involving Nora and her psycho shenanigans, I feel it's only right to continue the Psycho saga by watching this one too. So today we're taking a look at Super Psycho, the 3rd and final episode of the Psycho trilogy featuring crazy Nora Dershlit. Although she did appear as a very minor cameo character in episode 2 of the iCarly reboot as well. It just wasn't a Psycho episode. And since this is my first time watching Sam and Cat, I'm also going to complain about some of the things I dislike about the show as a whole. And this show absolutely floored me. Things are going to get pretty heated, so buckle up. As always, if you guys like this video, please be sure to give us a like and maybe even subscribe. I might just take a shot of orange juice mixed with toothpaste, if you do. If you have any other episodes of Sam and Cat you want me to cover, or any other shows you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. Alright, let's dive in. So this is #SuperPsycho. Why is it a hashtag? Why are all the episodes named with hashtags? I don't get it. Victorious was the show that had the characters constantly tweeting, and Sam and Cat doesn't have an internet theme at all, as far as I'm aware. So we start off with Sam watching boxing on TV, and some little kid next to her keeps bringing up member berries from iCarly.
Remember the time on the iCarly web show when you played the cowboy who talked to the idiot farm girl? Remember Gibby?
A Gibby. Remember?
Sam talks about Gibby, references the I Go to Japan episode and meeting the First Lady Michelle Obama, and of course, mentions being kidnapped multiple times by Nora Dershlit. And quick sidebar, these girls are mean babysitters. Sam threatens to slap the kid across the face with his own pants, and Kat also tells him to shut up. I kind of expect that from Sam, but isn't Kat supposed to be dumb but nice?
Bobby loved watching you on the iCarly web show, so you should answer his questions.
Hey, Cat?
Shut up, I'm busy.
Cut to Nora in prison as she's working out while looking at her revenge mood board of the iCarly gang. Suddenly, there's some scratching at the door, and the prison guard lady goes to investigate. And, oh, it's Maurice the chicken. How did the chicken get inside the prison? Who let the chicken in? How did Nora communicate with the chicken to plan this breakout in the first place? Now that is an episode I'd love to see. Maurice on the loose. Nora attacks the cop with a bucket and takes her ass down. And then we cut back to Kat, who's soaking some apples and cranberry juice to make crapples.
Well, I love cranberry juice, and my favorite fruit is apples. So I fill this fish tank up with cranberry juice, and I'm soaking the apples in it. I'm making crapples.
And I gotta ask, why is Kat talking like that?
My favorite fruit is apples.
I've seen Victorious, and the character did not talk like that at all.
Andre, you want to help me put monster makeup on Tori's face?
Bye.
Cut back to Nora, who's done assaulting the cop and escapes with the chicken through a vent. And did she kill that cop? The body actually violently twitches after being knocked out, and she's never seen again. Seems like a fucking death to me. And then we get the honest-to-God worst theme song I have ever heard in my entire life up to this point. I'm actually baffled. 10 seconds after it was over, I already couldn't remember the actual song whatsoever. All I could remember was how absolutely trash it was. And forget about the sound for a second. Forget about the assault on my eardrum. breadcrumbs. The visuals are gross too. It's one of the worst looking intros I have ever seen on a Nickelodeon show. I would have not wanted to release that if I made that. I wouldn't have been happy with that as the final product. And here is the goddamn problem. The theme song being terrible is actually inexcusable because this show stars Ariana fucking Grande. For iCarly, Miranda Cosgrove sang the theme song. For Victorious, Victoria Justice sang the theme song. For Drake and Josh, Drake Bell sang the damn theme song. And you're telling me, with the best singer ever to appear on Nickelodeon, objectively, it's the one time they didn't have the main actor sing the goddamn theme song? Trash. Pure trash. After that abomination of a theme song, Kat sees on the news that Nora Dershlit broke out of prison, which she never brings up at all. She doesn't react to it. She doesn't mention it to Sam. Why was Kat even watching the news? A kid with bushy hair named Dice shows up and says he'll be staying there all weekend. And he was in the terrible intro sequence, so I guess he's just one of the kids they babysit all the time. Sam comes into the house wearing a penny tee, yet another reference to iCarly, and we're not even 5 minutes in. Which makes me just wish I was watching iCarly in the first place. Cut to a movie theater where we see Gibby and his girlfriend. And fun fact, since he does not return for the iCarly reboot series, this is the last ever appearance of Gibby in any episode of any show in the iCarly universe. Press F to pay respects for Gibby. Nora Dershlit sits next to him and says hi, and in true Gibby fashion, he tells her it's good to see her and that she looks great.
Wait, I thought you were in prison for a couple more years.
Right. I was supposed to be, but 2 days ago I escaped.
Wow, yeah, good for you.
Nora then openly tells Gibby that she wants to track down Carly, Sam, and Freddie to hurt each one of them. To which Gibby responds, well, Carly is far away in Italy, but Sam lives close by, and offers to give Nora Sam's address, knowing her goal is to track Sam down and seek revenge. Okay, why on earth would he help Nora get revenge on Sam? Look, I know it's for laughs and that Gibby is supposed to be dumb or whatever, but in the first ever iPsycho episode, Gibby is the one who bravely rescues Carly, Sam, and Freddie, and even fights Nora in an iconic battle scene in order to save his friends. So this is a pretty insulting downgrade for his character to go from hero to literally helping out the bad guy harm his own friends. I'm fucking pissed. Cut to some weird restaurant where the waiters are robots for some reason. Nora sits at a table right near Sam while wearing a creepy disguise. Sam loudly talks about how much she loves the kid Dice for getting her a fake Mexican ID, and Nora overhears it.
I tell you, I'd be lost without this little fuzzy-headed mop face.
Well, it seems that Sam Pucket is quite fond of the young boy with the glorious hair.
And I gotta point out, this kid's hair is repeatedly called amazing in this episode. I recall Chase had the same hair on Zoe 101 and was frequently mocked for it.
Hey, Fuzzyhead.
Hey, now you promised not to call me Fuzzyhead anymore.
Curly Sue?
And now I'm liking Fuzzyhead.
Interesting, since Dan Schneider created both shows. Clearly the culture changed in the 9 years between Zoe 101 and Sam and Cat, but justice for Chase, am I right? Bro was ahead of the curve. So Nora finds the kid Dice outside alone in a parking lot of bots and tricks him into climbing into her car, then slams the trunk closed, locking him in. And come on now, I know the past 2 episodes in the Nora Dershlit saga have both involved kidnapping, but this one feels like kidnapping. You know, because it's an actual kid who has no idea who Nora even is. He doesn't know about the Nora iCarly beef, so to him, he might as well be getting kidnapped to be made into a sex slave or something. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Cut to Sam and Cat panicking because Dice is missing, when Gibby suddenly calls Sam to tell her that he got a new hat for his replica head, which was featured multiple times in the iCarly series, and I'm happy to see he's still taking good care of it. He then adds on, oh, by the way, Nora Dershlet's out of prison. She came to see me and said she wanted to destroy you, so I gave her your address. And that's it. Sam hangs up. She doesn't say, why the hell did you do that, Gibby? She doesn't ask for more details or anything. He doesn't offer to come help protect her. Just nothing. End of conversation. Nora bangs on the door, but then runs away, leaving behind an envelope.
What's it say?
I have your friend, Dice.
Oh my...
In case you don't believe me, here's a little piece of him.
And it's kind of weird how the note didn't demand anything from them. It wasn't like, Sam, if you want to see your friend again, come face me. It just kind of stated that she had the kid, and that was it. Nora calls Sam on the phone, and right away, Sam asks, "Where's Dice?" And Nora says, "Come on, Sam. Aren't you gonna ask me how it was in prison?"
No. Hi, Nora. I've missed you.
No. How was prison?
No. Sorry for causing the social workers to send my chicken to a foster farm.
Look, if the chicken got sent away to a foster farm, how the hell did it traverse back to the prison to help Nora break out? Also, yeah, it makes sense that the chicken got sent away because at the end of iStill Psycho, both Nora and her parents got arrested for kidnapping. But now that Nora has broken loose, I notice she's made no mention or attempt at rescuing her parents at all. This cracker's just leaving her parents in their cells to rot. And if that was my kid, I wouldn't be happy. Nora says she's gonna shave the kid Dice's hair and make a wig out of his hair. And again, there's no demand or asking for ransom or anything. Nora just informs them that she's gonna do it. Sam says to find Nora, they're gonna have to think like a criminal mastermind. So they decide to go to a mental asylum to speak to another criminal mastermind. Despite Sam being sent to prison multiple times in iCarly, she's pretty much a criminal mastermind, but whatever. The episode then turns into a Silence of the Lambs spoof, which is kinda weird for a kid's show to reference a rated R horror movie that their target audience isn't old enough to have seen yet. As Sam and Kat walk down the hall of insane criminals, they pass by a Crazy Steve reference. It's clearly just a body double and not actually Jerry Tranner as Crazy Steve. And they reused some old audio from Drake and Josh Really Big Shrimp too. They don't even record new lines.
Cock-a-doodle-doo, the cow says boo! Cock-a-doodle-doo, the cow says boo!
Quite frankly, this is more than disappointing. I wish they just didn't include this reference at all. Finally, they arrive at Neville's jail cell, our last big iCarly guest star for the episode. He parodies Hannibal Lecter by offering the girls some advice on how to catch Nora, since he's a big old creep himself, so he definitely knows how a creep would think. When they hand Neville the note from Nora through the glass, he grabs Sam's arm and screams, "Get me out of here!" Which is a throwback to the first iPsycho episode when they grab Nora's arm through the glass and scream at her to let them go. Neville tells them to look in an abandoned house to find Nora and Dice, and we get one of the only lines of dialogue to actually make me chuckle in this entire episode.
Look in those houses 3, and your friend Dice you shall see.
Oh my god, I think he's rapping.
Before the scene ends, Neville also criticizes the writers of iCarly for having gaps in the lore.
How come we never heard anything about Carly's mother?
All right.
Honestly, I've wondered the same thing myself, but whatever. Cut to the kid Dice down a well with some clackers? A great Drake and Josh reference, no doubt. But how did Nora get him trapped down in the well? Did she just throw him in? He could have cracked his damn skull open and died on the spot. How did she even find a well like this indoors? Just because a house is a bando doesn't mean there's a frickin' basement dungeon with an indoor well inside. I know it's another Silence of the Lambs reference, but I'm just not understanding the logistics of how Nora is pulling this all off. Kat comes to the door, and it's extremely obvious that these two are not actually talking to each other face to face right now, but are in fact using body doubles. In Jeanette McCurdy's book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, great book by the way, she talks about how Ariana Grande was allowed to frequently miss days of filming and be absent from set when she had any other project going on for her music or whatnot. And I'm guessing this must have been one of those times. Nora claims to be Noreen and invites Kat to come see the basement, and she accepts. And the next shot is Kat falling to her death down the well. But luckily, she's somehow fine. And now the only problem is Nora says she's going to shave both their heads to make wigs out of their hair. Which, Kat already had her head shaved in Victoria, so this shouldn't really worry her that much. Suddenly, Sam enters with the chicken Maurice in her arms, and she threatens the chicken with a gruesome fate unless Nora agrees to let her friends go.
You throw a rope down
Yeah.
so Kat and Dice can climb out of that pit, and I won't pluck, cook, eat, digest, and poop out this chicken.
And I don't like how she said it like that. I find the dialogue of this show overall to be very unpleasant so far. Nora says she has a better idea, and she proposes that Sam and her should fight. The stakes? If Sam wins the fight, her friends go free. But if Nora wins, Sam goes down in the well as well for all of eternity, I guess? I don't know when they would be allowed to leave. Sam says, "I bet, let's fucking go," and asks Nora if she's ready to bleed. And not gonna lie, I'm kind of hyped. The first iPsycho ended with an epic fight scene between Nora and Gibby, and I thought there was no way they could possibly top that. And then the sequel episode, iStill Psycho, ended with Tebow busting into the house on his motorcycle and Freddy's mom going all fence and Benson and sword fighting their asses. So I kinda can't wait to see what's gonna go down in this scene between Nora and Sam, especially because Sam is such a badass and we've seen her go nuts on some hoes in the other iCarly episodes.
Set. Ah! No fair, grabbing my foot.
Oh, God, sorry.
You let go right now.
Okay.
What? That's it? You're telling me they ended both the previous Nora episodes with iconic long-ass fight sequences, then have the audacity to tease us about doing it again in the episode, then only give us that lame shit? No way. I'm pissed. Actually, I'm livid right now. Those were the best scenes in the other iPsycho episodes. They made the entire rest of the episode worth it. And in this one, we get nothing? We get blue balls? Why would they build it up to then not do it? They even started this episode off by showing Sam watching boxing on TV, reminding us that she loves violence. Only for there to be no fight? Gag me with a spoon, motherfucker. And not only was that the most anticlimactic fight scene ever at the end, but also, why was Sam cool with yeeting Nora directly on top of her friends? One of them being a child. Not only did Sam kick a dangerous kidnapper into a confined space with two of her best friends, she could have just simply crushed them with her body on the way down.
Are you guys okay?
Yeah, we're fine.
I'm not fine.
Okay, whatever. We get a random quick scene of the insane asylum again, where Neville is broken out of his cell, completing his Hannibal Lecter arc. Nora gets arrested once again, and they say that she'll be in a maximum security prison this time, which she probably already should have been after the first episode, let alone the second time she got sent to prison, but okay. Sam gets a phone call from none other than Neville, who's hanging out with Gibby, and they say they're gonna eat some tapenade, which is a reference to the first ever episode Neville appeared in back in season 1 of iCarly.
I told you not to bring that thing.
Come on. Let's go get some tapenade.
Ooh, all right.
I brought you crackers and some of my mother's homemade tapenade. Tapenade? It's a spread made of olives, garlic, and capers.
And that's it. Let me be honest, guys. Let me be clear. I'm never gonna get that 30 minutes of my life back. That was my first ever time watching Sam and Cat, and I gotta say, there's a reason I avoided the show my entire life. My instincts were correct on this one. That was bad. And not even so bad it's enjoyable or funny, just bad. Even though I liked all the references to iCarly, and even Drake and Josh, because I love both those shows, it's not a great sign that the show had to rely so much on references to other shows in order to come across as likable or entertaining. Hell, when it wasn't referencing iCarly or Drake and Josh, it was referencing the Silence of the Lambs. So you kind of walk away from this episode feeling like the show doesn't have an identity of its own to fall back on. And even from just this one episode alone, I can honestly see why. For a show called Sam and Cat, these two have absolutely no chemistry as leads. And if you're gonna make Sam and Cat the literal title of the show and base the entire premise around the two characters together, them not having chemistry is a massive problem. In fact, the only other show with a similar name is Drake and Josh, which features the duo with the best comedic chemistry on probably any Nickelodeon show ever. And iCarly also gave us some really fantastic moments between Carly and Sam. Their friendship felt very natural, and the way they played off each other added so much to the show. Here, there's none of that. It also feels very forced and fake, and even awkward between Jeanette McCurdy and Ariana Grande, which is kind of disappointing since I've enjoyed both their performances in their original shows. I don't know if it's just all because of bad writing or because these two weren't really friends in real life, but it's a combo that just doesn't work. Out of the 3 Psycho episodes featuring Nora Dershlit as the villain, this one is by far the weakest of the bunch. And again, don't think I forgot about Nora's 4th appearance in the iCarly reboot. That episode does not technically have Psycho in the title and does not feature Nora as the main antagonist, so it's not a Psycho episode, but I'll review that one in the future, don't worry. Enough of me yapping. What do you guys think of #Super Psycho? Do you agree with me that it sucked monkey balls compared to the other 2 Psycho episodes? Or do you think I'm being a little too harsh? Let me know how you're feeling in the comments, and let's kick it. And as always, I have to give an aggressive, overpowering shout out to the Patreon and channel members. As my mom used to say, I love you to the moon and back, because I like to think of myself as a fatherly figure to all of you. I don't know what the hell I'm going on about, but in my last video, I asked a trivia question. In what episode of iCarly does Yvette Nicole Brown appear? The correct answer is I Must Have Locker 239, where she appears as a cameo as one of Carly's classmates in art school. And the first person to comment with the correct answer was Soft Squishy Sugar. Love that name. Congratulations. And if you're still watching, that's amazing. I really appreciate it. Why not check out some other videos and subscribe if you haven't already? All right, thanks for listening.